Hey there, this is Alan Brocken. Now that my kids are grown, they say I'm the cool dad everybody talks about. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised by that. I was not always a cool dad. There were a lot of days I just I had nothing. But I did work on a daily discipline as my kids were growing up, or at least a regular discipline, maybe not every single day, to try to make sure I was putting my head in a good space to interact with the family. And now that they're grown, I'm sharing that with you via podcast, YouTube, various formats. Today, we're going to talk about my dad word of the day is going to be pen. You know, like the pen is mightier than the sword. But I think before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about oxygen. I don't know if you realize this, but oxygen is just super important to clearing your body of stress chemicals. It also helps clear your mind. A brief walk or just a good deep breathing exercise can go a long way to kind of regulating things and helping you get perspective. So what I want you to do is just take a deep breath in through your mouth, out through your nose. Do that 2 or 3 times just to kind of get your head straight and get ready to get back into time with your family. Keep breathing. I know there's a lot on your mind and you might be looking for answers to things that are just far bigger than what you can handle. Our verse for the week is 2 Timothy 3:16. All scripture is God-breathed and is useful for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness. And so you might want to take your pen and just take a second to jot that down. I'm going to read again just real slowly. 2 Timothy 3:16. All scripture is God-breathed and is useful for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness. As I think about pens, today's dad word, it amazes me how many types you can find in the store. Personally, I'm fond of a Sharpie, and so is my bonus dad. He likes to send me famous quotes that he writes. And thinking about today's world, I found this quote from Herbert Hoover in 1928, super ironic. In 1928, he said, "We in America today are nearer to the final triumph over poverty than ever before in the history of the land. The poorhouse is vanishing from among us." Nearly 100 years later, that final triumph sure doesn't seem nearer. You personally might be struggling to put food on the table. I was there at one point, underwater with debt, living paycheck to paycheck. But there are others out there that can help. My city is home to the Midwest Food Bank. They supply resources to food banks all over the country. If you're looking for help putting food on the table, go to midwestfoodbank.org. Take a second, use your pen, write that down, whether you need help or you might have some help to give, midwestfoodbank.org. Even if you aren't near their facilities, you likely can find a place near you to help your family. If food insecurity isn't a problem you're struggling with, please consider volunteering. My family has volunteered at Midwest Food Bank a couple of times, and it made a difference for them and the community. And so if the final triumph President Hoover was looking for is to come, it's going to be you and me and everyone looking out for each other. Which brings me to today's good word. Nicholas Lowinger, age 12, noticed a couple kids at school that were struggling. He noticed that the brother and sister were never seen together, but they seemed to be wearing the same pink pair of shoes. They were pretty sparkly. This really stood out to him, especially when the brother was wearing it. It turns out these teenagers were sharing the shoes because that's all they had. So Nicholas took it upon himself to find the resources to give the boy his very own pair of basketball shoes. Then Nicholas took it a step further and founded the Gotta Have Soul Foundation. Love the pun there. To help ensure children in homeless shelters have new footwear, and now runs the foundation from his family's garage. Share this story with your kids. Maybe they'll be inspired to see how they can help those around them. Hey, are you still breathing? Well, just in case you need just a little bit more air, I'm going to share a laugh or two with you. What did the sketchbook say to the novel? I'm drawing a blank. Want to hear the joke my pen told me about a piece of paper? Never mind. It's terrible. Come on, those were great. So, your mission is to take the word pen and come up with your own joke, pun, or just a funny story for your kids. Let me know how it goes in the comments. And thanks for tuning into the Daily Dad Word. If you're looking for some more inspiration for your family time, check out dailydadword.com and click the Daily Dad Word link in the main menu. I have a number of resources there to plant the seed for a lifetime of relationships with your family. If you found this focus time useful, click like and subscribe to be notified about the next day's show.